Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Magic the Gathering Arena. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to be a free-to-play content creator, and I just kind of talk off the cuff a little bit about some of the difficulties that are involved with it. So I have two accounts. This is my newer account. I do the wildcard deck building toolbox series on this one. So my wildcards are always kind of drained down. Every time a new set comes around, I'm going to update the deck building toolbox series. And I don't have as many wildcards on this account as I do on the older account. Plus the older account, it's nice to have some open rare and mythic wildcard slots in case I want to build a really weird deck. I need 4 copies of a funky, rare or mythic. Then I can do that on the older account. This account, I do more of the budget deck builds. And also this account is good for limited play, obviously. That's the real benefit of having 2 accounts. Game School Dad, Martin, he's another channel. He talks about the benefits of having a second account where you just draft. I'm trying to do more than that, though. I'm trying to keep up with 2 accounts that are both free to play. And that is hard. There are only so many hours in the day I have a life. I've got my child, my son, I've got the love of my life, my partner, Mary, and it keeps me very busy trying to discuss all these magic concepts and ideas, and then to actually put in the hours to grind out like daily wins and quests and all of that stuff. It would be easier for crafting new deck ideas and such to just go ahead and drop $100 or whatever, buy some gems and try to get the cards that way. Start opening packs, build up a bunch of wild cards, maybe even buy the wild cards directly, although that's not a great deal. It's always tempting to spend money on the account, but first of all, I don't think that's I don't feel as rewarded playing the game that way. I enjoy actually earning the things in the game. Usually when there's like a free-to-play game, like, an MMO or some other thing, about the time I feel stymied to the point that I need to pay money to advance in it, is about the time that I quit playing the game. I've learned this about myself. The Magic's a little different. There are always new deck ideas and new things coming with Magic, but still, same principle kind of holds true. I want to earn the things that I'm getting in the game. It makes it more fun. And number 2 is I really don't have that much money to spare. I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube. Traditional work hasn't gone very well for me. Yeah, I don't want to really get into the weeds on all of it. I've got like some issues with chronic pain and fatigue, but I don't want to dive into all of that necessarily. Just know that I used to have a factory job and I cannot do it anymore. I'm physically unable to do that factory job at this point, and I'm not on disability. The things for that fell through. There are other jobs that I can do, of course. I could, go back into food delivery or other things, but this is really where my heart lies. It's what I'm trying to do with my life. I also publish D&D books on Dungeon Masters Guild. If you search for spells from the Far Realm, spells from elsewhere, monsters from elsewhere, I've got a bunch of books on there. But anyway, it's what I'm trying to do with my life full-time. My partner is currently trying to get work again in the field of accounting. We've supported each other off and on throughout our relationship. It's just, When something falls off for her, I pick up the slack. When something falls off for me, she picks up the slack. It's how we've always operated as a team. Anyway, that's more than you wanted to hear, probably. But as far as being free to play, on my older account, I have spent $20 in total on that account. I purchased these two bundles. I want to go ahead and take a look at them real quick here. Question mark. Okay, it is 2,500 gems and 5 booster packs. I'm guessing it's the 5 booster packs they actually have displayed here. And if you wait until the fall set releases around September, October, then some of these older format, boosters are going to rotate out, and they're going to have cards that are standard legal in this grouping here. These are all standard legal sets, except for Alchemy Baldur's Gate. But if you wait until September, October, there probably won't be an Alchemy booster in this bunch. They'll probably all just be standard legal stuff. And even if that's not the case, $5 for 5 packs, which gives you wheel progress, and the 2,500 gems is a good deal. Let's look at the packs over here. These are the wheel progresses I'm talking about in the upper right corner on the pack screen. You got uncommon wildcard progress, you got rare wildcard progress. And the rare wildcard progress flips over to mythic about every 30 or so packs. Right now it says 24 more packs until your next mythic rare wildcard. So it'll be, rares, and then it'll be a mythic, and then it'll go back to rares again. Keeps doing that. These are always uncommon. They don't have a common wildcard progress. And for that reason, uncommon wildcards, oddly enough, are a little bit more common in the game than common wildcards are. I find that very strange. But so yeah, when I'm saying that these packs progress your wheels, that's what I mean. So if you buy this and you get like an alchemy booster and you're like, well, I wasn't really planning on using alchemy cards, it's still going to give you track progress. And the 2,500 gems is well worth the money. That is if you think you want to pay money at all, which you don't have to. But let's go ahead and get into the math here for a second. So this one up here, $100, is the best deal. If you were going to buy gems in bulk, this would be the way to do it. Drop $100, get 20,000 gems. That's the best deal. So if it would be 2,500 gems for $5 that we just looked at, right? $5 goes into $100 20 times. And you would get 25,000 gems if you were able to buy that bundle 10 times, which is better than the best rate you can get on gems here. So, it's a good deal. This $5 purchase here is one of the best ways you can ever spend money on the game. I'm not saying you need to ever spend money on the game, but if you were going to, this one's pretty good. I also bought the Adventurer bundle on my older account. This is the newer account. I didn't buy these bundles for this account. This one gives you 3,500 gems, which is enough to buy a Mastery Pass, by the way. Mastery Pass is 3,400 gems. You also get the Adventurer Avatar in the City of Brasssleeve. The Adventurer Avatar I've gotten a little tired of. Kind of tired of seeing it. Never really wanted to be it. The City of Brasssleeve could be cool. You can actually set different decks to have different sleeves. So I think a City of Brasssleeve would be a nice include for like a multicolor deck. Anyway, the 3,500 gems, right, so this is $15 here. $15 doesn't break real evenly into 100, but let's do a little math anyway. So if you were to buy this bundle 6 times, that would get you to $90. Now you can only buy these bundles once, but this is for the sake of math. So 6 times 3,500 would be first 18,000, then another 3,000 on top of that, which would be 21,000 gems at $90. And then there's an extra $10 to go to the $100 gems bundle. So this adventurer bundle is also a better deal than buying $100 worth of gems in the store. It's not as good as this one, but if you were going to spend money on the game, these two bundles is where I would start, and then you could get the Mastery Pass, like, immediately. And if you've already got a bunch of Mastery Progress unlocked, that's going to give you a bunch of neat stuff. Let's go ahead and look at the Mastery Pass real quick. I'm just kind of general purpose talking about being a free-to-play account today. Just kind of my personal takes on things, the ins and outs, the woes as a content creator, all that. The top track on the Mastery Pass is free. All players get this track. So you earn experience through weekly wins, daily wins, and daily quests. This experience moves you up this track. You get March of the Machine boosters. Every other level. I think there's also occasionally some orbs. You can go into the tree here and exchange them for cosmetics. I've started on the green cosmetic tree so far. Sometimes they have avatars. This time they've got deck sleeves that are in here and card styles. It's all just cosmetic. So the top part of the track is free, and it only goes up to level, what is it, 54 in this case? It changes every season. Yeah, this season's 54. But the bottom track you unlock with 3,400 gems. It would pop up in the bottom right corner where my face is if I hadn't already purchased it. And whatever level you are along the top track, you automatically unlock all the stuff on the bottom track up to that point. And it's pretty easy to get your money's worth out of the bottom track to where you at least break even on the gems. Because before we go along too deep here, alright, here's 400 gems. Here's a player draft token. Now, a player draft token, if you had purchased this with gems, would be like 1,500 gems, or it's worth like 10,000 gold. So that right there is a big chunk of the value. A really big chunk. On top of that, there's all kinds of boosters, there's extra gold, there are extra rares and mythics. Alright, there's another 1,000 gold. There's another 400 gems, so about the time you're getting into, like, you know, somewhere in the 20s, 30s level range, which isn't at all hard to do, you've broken even on the 3,400 gems. And it is possible to max out the tree, and even get into, like, individual card rewards. Kind of like the daily wins when you get past, like, 4 or 5 wins. You can get uncommon rewards that can randomly upgrade to a rare or a mythic. So you can get up to 70 and beyond. Probably the easiest way to do that would be like to play a little bit every day or every couple of days. Make sure you get all of your weekly wins, right? You need 15 weekly wins to get all of that experience. Doing your daily quests is a big chunk of experience. And then daily wins, like the first 10 daily wins, are 25 experience apiece, which is not very much. You don't have to worry about that part as much. The first 4 daily wins have a pretty good gold reward, though. The first one's like 250, and then the next 3 are 100 gold apiece. So those are pretty good if you're free to play. After that, you know, the value of more daily wins kind of tapers off. Diminishing rewards and all of that. Diminishing returns. So, on new accounts, or if you have an old account, they may have given you 5 jump-in tokens. I used a couple of these recently. but I'm planning on holding the rest of them until the fall set rotation to make sure I'm getting more cards from newer sets of Standard. But Jump In is a great way to build your collection. You go over to Events. Here's Jump In. So you can either pay 1,000 gold, 200 gems, or a Jump In token. Now, I probably wouldn't do the gems in this case, but 1,000 gold is pretty cheap for what you get. Because you get your choice between two different packets, and one has a rare in it. I mean, each packet has a rare in it, or a mythic. So you're going to get the equivalent of kind of like more than 2 booster packs worth of cards. You'll get 2 rares, you'll get several uncommons, far more than you would have gotten in a single booster pack. You get, I think it's 12 cards in total, 12 spells, aside from basic lands, in each jump-in packet. And that means you're getting 24 cards, 2 of which are rares. Now, they're not randomly distributed like a booster pack, and it doesn't progress your wheel progress, you know, towards like another wild card. But still, a lot of the cards that they pepper into these decks are really powerful. The only thing to watch out for is that there are alchemy packets in here. So sometimes you may have to either take a repeat packet of something you already have and you don't want to repeat it again. Maybe you've got all the rares you wanted out of that one. Or to take something new, you might have to take an alchemy packet. But when I started this account, the very first video I did on this channel, I explained that I had spent no wildcards, and that I had gotten all the way to Diamond. Which is true, I did. This season had rotated at the point that I finally was ready to start recording, and I'd gotten all the equipment to make my YouTube videos. But I'd gotten up to Diamond, and then I had like dropped down for the new season and gotten up to Platinum again. I was doing it just to prove a point that it was possible, that without spending a single wild card that you could compete on the ladder. And you can. It's just a matter of time and inclination, and using what you got. But there's another aspect of this I wanted to talk about, which is being a content creator. Being a content creator means that you want to come with new decks sometimes. I don't just want to do limited coverage, I also want to, you know, be brewing up new decks. It's really hard on a free-to-play account to be able to brew up a bunch of brand new decks in a new set rotation, or sorry, just a new set entering Standard. Because collecting all the cards takes time. When you're free to play, it takes time, it takes effort. You need to go through limited events, or, you know, you could build up a giant pile of gold as long as you have enough gems to pay for the Mastery Pass for the next season. You could save up a giant pile of gold, buy a ton of booster packs, and all the golden packs that come with it every, you know, like every 10 packs you get a golden pack. Open all of those up, get all of the wheel progress on wildcards and randomly open some wildcards out of the boosters. Use those to craft what you need, and then you could start making content for the new season. But if you enjoy playing limited like I do, then it means that you're kind of left in the lurch for a little while where your collection's very incomplete on the new set. Like, let's see. Set collection says I'm 55% on March of the Machine. You know, I don't have very many of these filled out yet. I don't have one copy of all of any of these, including the commons. Don't have play sets of most of the cards yet. And that's difficult as a content creator. So if you want to be a free-to-play content creator like I am, it's a challenge that you're going to have to recognize and figure out whether you want to work around it. You know, by like as I said, building up a giant pile of gold, and then when the new set hits, you buy a ton of boosters to get all the cards and all the wild cards you need to showcase it. Or you're going to be playing a lot of Limited, which I have been. I've been playing a lot of Limited, and I've been trying to get the videos out for it. But editing videos takes time. It's much faster to just sit down and play the game and not be trying to talk into the microphone while you're doing it. Just sit down, do a draft, hammer it out, win or lose, go ahead and jump into the next one. For example, I've got 2 draft videos that I've filmed, that I have the data on my computer. I'm waiting to edit it and upload it and release it. I'll give you a spoiler since you're this far into the video, and I like you for watching this so far. I did a red-white draft, and I thought the deck looked good, but it ended up not working very well. I went 1-3. Terrible record. I was not impressed with it at all. Also, I didn't really draw... I had 2 copies of the Signpost Uncommon, the Mirror Shield Hoplite. Almost never came up. One of the few times it did come up, it got removed by the opponent. The deck just didn't function very well. And Nikolai Bolas put out a video recently where he ranked red-white as like the bottom of the 10 archetypes. I'm inclined to agree with him. I did a draft after that. I think it was a 3-color deck. I went 5-3. Which anytime you get 5 wins in Premier, it means you've paid for your next draft. So that one I'm pretty content with. And then, on top of that, I'm actually in the middle of one that I didn't film. Yeah, I didn't film the drafting process on this. I didn't really intend to get into the playing process on this. It's currently 2-0 right now. This is the deck. It's 5-color nonsense, but the only white cards are the Invasion of Alara and Galta and Mavrin. The only red cards are Geoderms, Ergamon, and Volcanic Spite. Oh, there's Realmbreaker's Grasp, too. I believe the only black card in here is the Invasion of Alara. And at its core, this is a green-blue deck, mostly green. And you may notice that it's more than 40 cards. So, part of the difficulty of, putting videos out on YouTube is you feel like you're going to be judged for the way that you like to play. I think sometimes it's actually correct in order not to get milled out when you have things that are going deep into your deck for various reasons. Or if you feel like you're going to do very well in a long game and the thing that you might lose to in a long game is milling out, that you can just pad the deck above 40 cards. So the thing you got to watch out for in green-blue is you fetch a lot of lands and you draw a lot of cards. Let me show you. Deeproot Wayfinder can surveil and get lands out of your graveyard. So it behooves you to surveil things away to get to lands that you can get into the graveyard. That is going to mill you out faster. Invasion of Ergamon, you get to discard a card and draw a card, and then on the flip side, you get to discard a card and fetch a land or a battle. That mills you too. Invasion of Pyrulia. Scry 3, reveal the top card of your library. If it's land or double face, draw a card. That mills you for 1. Because you're 1 card deeper, right? Drawing a card is still 1 card deeper towards the bottom of the deck. Invasion of Vryn. Draw 3, discard a card. That's 3 cards deeper towards losing to mill. Fertilid's Favor, fetch a basic land out of your deck, 1 card deeper to losing to mill. Invasion of Zendikar, fetch 2 lands out of your library, put them on the battlefield, you're 2 cards deeper to milling out. Corruption of Tawashi, incubate 4 every time a permanent transforms, you draw a card once per turn. Drawing cards is great. It also puts you closer to milling out. Invasion of Alara. Exile 2 non-land cards, mana value 4 or less, cast one of them, put the other in your hand. That's 2 cards that are not in your library anymore. If you flip this, I mean, if you flip it, you'll probably win the game, but target player draws 2 cards. Technically, you could make that the opponent. Technically. If you were really close to milling out, you might choose to do that. But almost always, you're going to target yourself. So, you lost 2 cards out of your library on the front side. You're going to lose another 2 when you flip this over. So, in terms of the number of cards that pull stuff out, let's count the ways here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 cards in this deck that all want to thin your library. They want to draw you cards, fetch out lands, or cast spells for free. In some way, just move them out of your library and into play or the graveyard or something. 8 of them. And in the case of most of those cards do multiples. Multiple lands, multiple surveils, multiple card draws. And, you know, you could just build a 40-card deck and say, well, you know, I probably won't mill out doing that, but maybe at some point you choose to stop playing those cards because you start to worry you're going to run out of your 40 cards. And maybe instead what you ought to be thinking about sometimes is, do I have enough playables here? Enough good playables and enough card advantage and a good late game that I just want to pad the deck a little bit. I feel like I've got enough good stuff going on here. I just want to pad the deck out. Give me time to get all of my giant cards and my card advantage and give it time to breathe and not get milled out. Symmetrical mill does exist in this format. Black has it, blue has it, blue-black as an archetype has a lot of it. Symmetrical mill would not be enough of a reason for me to go above 40 cards. I'm not that afraid of mill. But when there's this much card advantage in your pool, rather than choosing not to run it because you feel like you have too much of a good thing, you just go above 40 cards because you feel like you can. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do necessarily. And that's part of it. That's part of me not wanting to show this draft and this, frankly, kind of awesome deck. Is I feel like I'm going to be judged by the internet for having a 48-card draft deck. Even though I feel like I've explained the reasoning behind having it. And as you can see, it's 1, 2, and 0 at this point. It runs relatively well. Could be a lot worse. Another reason I went above 40 cards is I felt like I didn't have a high enough creature count. And I was having trouble, trying to figure out which of the non-creature spells I wanted to be cutting, and I felt like there was a lot of great value here. And ultimately I decided that I could just run more, that I had more playables, and it was fine to do so. I actually look forward to, at some point, getting an early copy of the Sky Noodle, Yorion, and using Yorion as my companion and making a 60-card limited deck. I think it would be an interesting challenge. I think I'm up to the task. I think I'm really good at being able to find enough playables to fill out a whole deck's worth of stuff. All the way up to 60. It would be hard if green was not a core color, Because if you don't have green as a core color, splashing is really hard. You need a lot of the little 3 mana artifact guy, the 1/2. If you don't have a lot of him, then it starts to get pretty tough if you're not core green to fix the mana that much. You would need a lot of these gain lands. So anyway, yeah, this is an off-camera draft. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it again on this channel. Maybe if I get up to 6 wins, then I'll do another little video like when I was doing experiment number 2 on the rare drafts, where I let you all in on the end of it, whether I achieve victory or get stopped at 6 wins. But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that comes with being a content creator. Where sometimes you don't feel like you have the time to explain your choices, you don't have the energy to defend the choices you're making, or you just want to get in some off-camera drafts, just to build your collection faster in order to get more of the cards, to get more games in. And you play better when you're not talking. When you're not on camera, it's like it's a distraction. It's using up brain power. You're not playing as well when you're doing this. So it's all this big, strange balancing act, and you still want to be putting out content. And if you can't put out content of the new set because you don't have enough of the new cards, then you gotta keep editing these draft videos. It's a conundrum. Now, all of that is not to say that you can't be a free-to-play account, because you very much can. I've done free-to-play on my other account for a long, long time. I wasn't clued in to the Mastery Pass right at first, and how valuable it was, and how you earn gems to be able to do that. Right at first, I'm pretty sure I was just throwing all of my gold at booster packs. I started back around Ixalan, which is about as old as Arena, I think. I haven't played all the time. There have been times that I went dormant on Arena and I wasn't playing on that account, and then I picked it up again and went dormant again and picked it up again. But those older sets I don't have as much of a filled out collection because I didn't know as much about how to be a free-to-play account back then. Anyway. So, I just wanted to do a little behind-the-scenes video today. I know, I've been kind of all over the place, talked about all kinds of things, everything from, base-level concepts of doing a free-to-play account to, things going on in my life. But, let me know if you like or hate this kind of content in the future. So, like, subscribe, do the YouTube stuff, sound off in the comments if you want to see more videos like this one. Next time, I'm going to be talking more specifically about some concepts in drafting. But I may have already hit on some of it this video, so I don't know if I'm going to make that video. But until next time, stay cool.